But there is a difficulty, there is a genuine problem. Hard is it to persuade earth nature's change. Habits die rarely in us, you see. Our worst habit is to die. We keep on dying. That is our worst habit. And that worst habit has to change, you see. But it is difficult to change it. Hard is it to persuade earth nature's change. Mortality bears ill the Eternal's touch. Yes, He comes here to help you. Go away, we are not interested in you. It is too much for us. It fears the pure, divine intolerance of that assault of ether and of fire. There is the inherent psychological, vital fear in us. If that greatness comes here, I will get crushed. I will be nowhere, you see. That assault of ether and of fire, ether, Akash and Agni, if they come here and invade us, we will be nowhere. So we kind of throw them back again and again, you see. It fears the pure, divine intolerance. You see, intolerance, it doesn't care about what you are. It is pushing itself constantly. It fears the pure, divine intolerance of that assault of ether and of fire. It murmurs at its sorrowless happiness. Almost with hate repel the light it brings. It trembles at its naked power of truth and the might and sweetness of His absolute voice, and the might and sweetness of His absolute voice, might and sweetness, might, samarthya, shakti, sweetness, madhurya, and might and sweetness, its absolute voice, it is not going to change at all. It trembles at its naked power of truth and the might and sweetness of its absolute voice. We cannot, you see, the divine word comes here, we are not able to bear its power, capacity. We throw it away, we run away from it. It is so powerful, you see.
What did you say? Might?
Might is samarthya, shakti, samarthya. Samartha means I am powerful, I am strong enough. S-A-M-A-Y-A-R-T-H. A. Samarthya. S-A-M-A-R-T-H-Y-A. Samarthya. Samartha, I am capable of doing things. I am strong enough. I am powerful enough. Samarthya. Yes, I can handle that sort of a thing. Madhurya, madhura, sweet, flowing, yeah. Honey, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Hard is it to persuade earth nature's change. Mortality bears ill the eternal's touch. It fears the pure divine intolerance of that assault of ether and of fire. It murmurs at its sorrowless happiness. Almost with hate repel the light it brings. It trembles this naked power of truth and the might and sweetness of His absolute voice. Well, I will say this is not too bad in the sense that the way Christ was treated was much harsher than that. The crown of thorns, piercing His limbs, tying Him the knot, nailing Him on the cross and all that kind of a thing. It was a real physical suffering, you see. Brutal, absolutely, you see. Yeah. That is why He humanized Europe. Christ on the cross was to humanize Europe. See. Europe, the barbaric Europe of that time.
The
Christ's mission was to humanize Europe.
Why Europe? He didn't born in Europe. He born in Palestine.
Well, it is of course a divine incarnation, but that was required in the immediate context for the further history of evolution of Earth, to humanize, to make Europe more civilized.
No, I don't agree with you. He didn't come only for Europe.
I'm not saying it myself. This is Shevendru's occurrence.
Because maybe I didn't understand. No?
Europe is identified with Christianity. Even now, Christianity spread in Europe, mostly in Europe. Mostly Africa and Europe.
If you want, after
No,
2000
I
years,
want to
now it's like.
Shivendra says the crucifixion of Christ, the four great events in the history of creation, in the history of world.
Oh, that was not as barbaric as Europe.
Four great events in the history of evolution.
Yeah, okay, but Europe, you have no idea how barbaric Europe was.
Western world, Western. But
See, I mean, you take even the simple case, the way after the Battle of Troy, the siege of Troy, when Hector was killed, he was tied to the chariot and his dead body was taken around 3 times in the arena there, you see. It is brutality, you see. It is lacking total psychic sense of values of a noble kind at all, you see. So it is that, yeah, it's so bad. You can't even imagine those scenes, you see. And later on in the entire history, we got so many instances of that kind, you see. Even to a large extent, I will say, giving to Socrates hemlock, a cup of hemlock to drink and all that. See, Socrates, he was given, how did he die? He was given a death sentence and he had to drink a cup of hemlock.
What?
A poison. Yeah.
And drink that. You see, he had to drink that. In spite of his sagely nature, his values of philosophy and all that kind of a thing. See, even in a civilized society like Athens, this happened, you see, in those days, you see. And later on, of course, many other events were there, you see. Even the gladiators. Hard is it to persuade or take its change. Mortality bears ill eternal stung. It fears the pure divine intolerance of the assault of eternal fire. It murmurs at its sorrowless happiness. It murmurs at its sorrowless happiness. No tinge of sorrow at all there. And it is not happy. It is not happy with that. Almost with hate, it repels the light it brings. That it,
Eternal touch.
pursuit earth, nature's change, yeah. The eternal touch. The eternal touch. Now this it is different than this it, huh?
Mortality is
Yeah.
cheerful.
This is earth nature.
Nature.
This is the mortality.
This is earth nature. And this it is eternal touch. It trembles again, that mortality and the might and spirit of its absolute power. Its, again, this is different, you see, of truth. Now, hard is it to persuade earth nature change. There is, of course, a big lecture given by Narad in the Book of Fate on this topic to the Queen Mother. And maybe you can see them, some of them quickly. See, 108:30. In fact, we'll read from the whole passage. He who save himself lives bare and calm. Now that is the nature of the Savior. Savitri, in fact, that is what we are seeing here also. He who save himself lives bare and calm. He who saved the race must share his pain. Well, she participates in the human nature. This he shall know who obeys that grandiose earth. The great who came to save the suffering world and rescue out of time's shadow and the law must pass beneath the yoke of grief and pain. They are caught by the wheel that they had hoped to break. In the karma, in the cycles of creation. On their shoulders, they must bear man's load of faith. Man lifted up the burden of his faith, that is not sufficient. The Savior has to do that thing, you see. Heaven's riches they bring. In fact, this is what he got. Rich divinity, Savitri has brought, no? Heaven's riches they bring. The suffering count the price, or they pay the gift of knowledge with their lives. The Son of God, born the Son of Man. So Savitri is Son of God actually here. See. Son of God, born the Son of Man, has drunk the bitter cup, own Goddess debt. The debt, the eternal oath to the fallen kind, his will has bound to death and struggling life that yearns in vain for rest and endless peace. Now is the debt paid, wiped off the original score. So that is what Savitri's work would mean. See? And then further down, the eternal suffers in human form. This is exactly the description of Savitri. The eternal suffers in a human form. He has signed salvation testament with his blood. This suppose refers to Christ, but this is for all these sons of God, saviors. He has opened the doors of his undying peace. The deity compensates the creature's claim. The Creator bears the law of pain and death. He has given his life and light to balance here the dark account of mortal ignorance. Well, that is what Savitri has to do. Let's go back to further. 109.1. Exactly the same. Hard is it to persuade earth nature's change. 109.1. Hard is the world redeemer's heavy task. So Savitri has come here, he is depicted here as the world redeemer. Hard is the world redeemer's heavy task. The world itself becomes his adversary, his enemies, the beings he came to save. This is exactly the description of Christ, of course. Savitri does not face that way, but it is that. Those he would save are his antagonists. His word is in love with his own ignorance. His darkness turns away from the Savior light. His darkness turns away from the Savior light. It gives the cross in payment for the crown. So she has brought the cross, the passion flower she has been offered to see. And then 100.9, a greater power must come. A great 100.9, same passage. 109.9. A greater power must come, a larger light. This is what Ashwapati was saying. Narad was saying. A greater power must come. Well, this is what we have here. A greater power has come here. And she has to undergo through all these things. A greater power must come. A larger light. This is the larger light, the largest light. Parasya Jyoti, hard is it to persuade earth nature's change.